you all for coming out tonight. I'm so excited to welcome Naomi Schleisman to our gallery here. Her work has been shown all across the country, and she works both two-dimensional and three-dimensionally, which is really great. So we're just really excited to have her here in our community, sharing her work with us. And I'll turn it over to Naomi to talk more about her work and inspiration, and specifically this show. So.
Thank you so much, Molly.
Yes.
Thank you so much for everyone for actually coming out with this long during winter that we've been having, and I'm glad that the storm actually did not prevent me from coming, because it had already prevented me from installing the work, and we had to reschedule that as well. So being able to get it up and into the space has felt really good. And what I want to do tonight is I want to tell you a little bit more about myself. Is that I grew up in a small rural community of Fergus Falls, Minnesota. And I was born into a family of laborers, which were farmers, nurses, seamstress, bar owners, and also woodworkers. I started using my hands at a very young age and to play with tools and to create objects out of a variety of mediums. So I was immersed into textures, fibers, woods, metals, and even the earth, with my grandfather being a farmer as well. Growing up, my family frequently moved from home to home, and I became accustomed to the cycle of moving and tearing down walls and building additions, and also redecoration and personalizations of these new spaces that we were living in. It was through these frequent transitions that the importance of applying my own ornamentation and also aesthetics led to a sense of space. It was the diverse ornamentation of the decor of the home, school, and other institutions, and with church, that fostered my acute awareness of how different spaces were decorated, and also the types of ornamentation that signified the function of those spaces, and gave a sense of texture, design, and also problem solving at a very young age. I attended Minnesota State University of Moorhead, where I received my Bachelor of Fine Arts with an emphasis in sculpture. And 2 years later, I attended the University of Wisconsin-Madison, where I graduated in 2009 with my Master of Fine Arts with emphasis in sculpture. Within my family, illness, cancer, and death has taken many family members, and breast cancer has affected me personally. I am 1 year out of being a survivor and also a warrior of breast cancer, and I have seen my body change and fight this horrible disease. It has been through caring for myself and my family that has led to an extensive knowledge of science and how physically and psychologically this can affect us, and also coping with it. While integrating the faith that one is raised in to understand about the unknown and the unforeseen, I learned a lot about myself. And as we have waded through the daily life of the past 3 years, we have seen and experienced things that have weighed us down, caused confusion, loneliness, stress. But from these struggles, we have also created joy that we have embraced and we have fixed within us. I learned in the last year that being type A does not work with having cancer or trying to deal with COVID. And also being diagnosed with breast cancer, that I had to learn the hard way, new ways of coping and communicating with my daughter, and also problem solving within the medical institution during a pandemic. How we react to certain experiences is related to how we problem solve, how we create new systems of communication, and belonging to interact with one another and embrace the chaos of the unknown head on. Over the past 3 years, many of us had to make drastic changes in our family lives, with homeschooling, online schooling, even separations and or divorce. Within our work lives, we lived on constant Zoom meetings and figuring out how to be present and also facilitate programming and workshops to continue our work. And our families and communities and institutions have all struggled to create this new normal. Through all of this, we have found new systems of communication, strengths within us and around us, and the beauty of the ugliness in others, and how we have to forge forward to break the daily routine and to discover new roles, establish new systems that are out of our comfort zones, and to conceive this new normal that we are all living. I personally seek to create objects and installations that create a collision of scale and questioning the materiality that I chose for my ideas that are not fixed into our own interpretation of them. I use materials associated with sculpture, like wood, fiber, plaster, and also plastic, rubber, and metal. And with these materials, I juxtapose the visual weight of these resources while utilizing the architectural grid that they live in and make these objects and install them in the space that they inhabit. This is done with the intention of extending and understanding interior versus exterior, hard versus soft, and domestic versus institutional. Turning Point is about how we have had to learn to pivot and to turn at different opportunities, especially when COVID hit. Working from home, homeschooling, online schooling, self-care, and trying to navigate a new normal that has us both online and offline. And I have used materials associated with this to help me understand. Some of these materials are from some of the main pieces titled From Comfort, which are the actual upholstered pieces here, and also on the front of the main exhibition wall. This series is of a block of soft fabric with bright colors and circular shapes on them. And if you sit and stare at these pieces, the illusion of the fabric will start to move. The circles will start to swim across the pattern. So it creates this mysterious illusion. I feel we are all coming out of our own illusions of positive and negative experiences. The Comfort series is a new series that is about softness of the upholstered square, which is the plush fabric, and the hardness of the structure, which is the wooden frame. And it speaks to how our society has been hardened and softened all at the same time. This new exploration into this body of work is making me think in different ways and how to actually utilize the fibers and patterns that I've used in my work consistently throughout my art career for the past 20 years. How can it play a new role in how we visually see things? How things can be optical illusions of what we are really seeing. Then the series of generative solutions, which are the mirror pieces, which are on this wall and on the back wall, encompassed within the wooden circles are the mirrors that play the role of how we see ourselves and how we react to our reflections of how we act in society, how we react to everyone else, and also present ourselves. Everything comes full circle. Some want to play with the mirrors when they see them and feel the joy of seeing themselves with longer arms or longer legs. I also had a little one just tell me that he wanted to see them so that it was vertical and not horizontal, which I agree with him. And then also how it can distort your height. Some may not want to see themselves in the mirrors, and how they interact with the pieces is their choice. I encourage everyone to have their own experience with the art and to think of the textures, use of materials, and how they play off of one another. My joy is experimenting and making the artwork with mixed medias, for instance, the earplugs, which are over here. That's coming out of the log piece there, which is called Internal Growth. I chose earplugs because we have all been not wanting to listen to what has been happening and what could be happening within society, but we all need this internal growth to actually continue to grow and manifest what we want to happen in the future. And then Among Us is a very symbolic of new growth with actually using the peacock feathers. And did you know that the pheasant and the peacock are cousins? I learned that while making this work. And the peacocks are symbolic of regrowth, rejuvenation, royalty, respect, honor, and integrity. They are also a symbol of beauty, love, and passion. The peacock actually teaches us lessons that we must learn from our past and help us to see obstacles as an opportunity to create a brighter future. And if we all show our true colors, we can achieve anything together. Peacocks are confident but never arrogant. And the white peacock feathers is symbolic of pride. Then the pheasant feathers that are over here coming actually out of the log stumps. And on my way here, driving down here tonight, I counted 8 pheasants that were in the ditch. Pheasant feathers absolutely represent imagination and creativity. The spirit of this bird is a great problem solver, and they can invent new ways to problem solve. They're also symbolic in the keen sense of perceiving their own surroundings and what keeps them safe from any threat lurking around. In Buddhism, they symbolize the principle of change. Pheasants are non-migratory birds for a good reason, because they cannot fly long distance, and they are only migrating on foot. Therefore, these ground-dwelling birds stay in their breeding grounds all year long, managing to withstand the harsh winters and also food shortages, and they survive without food for even up to 10 days. In the world of symbolism, the pheasant feathers are used to symbolize a gift. Their spirit can guide you on how to use your talents, skills in the right direction in order to succeed in life. Pheasant feathers are not only symbolic of using one's gifts wisely, but also sharing your gifts with others and growing together. Lastly, I'd like to be talking about the paintings that go around the gallery here, which are titled Ingression. These represent new pathways and systems that we are trying to work and figure out within our communities, our family lives, and new relationships. And how we navigate them is how we see the beauty in them. I would really like to thank Molly, the director here at the Hutchison Art Center, for helping me install this work. Because even with being just 1 year out of recovering from breast cancer, physically being able to do things has been a challenge. And so being able to install this work, see it up, has been so rewarding. And actually getting the videos sent to me too of the kids interacting with the artwork too has just brought joy to my heart and what I'm seeing as well. Lastly, the chandelier piece, which is in the very beginning of the exhibition that you walk into, it is speaking about how our culture has been turned upside down, flipped around. We don't know what's up, we don't know what's down. And actually that the two chandeliers are connected and working together, and that there's light among them. And conceptually, the weight is equaled out so that there's balance and also beauty within the piece. I could talk so much more about every single piece, but thank you for letting me share what I have. And if anyone has any questions, I would love to answer the questions. Questions? Yes.
Could you just talk about your experience as a contemporary artist working in a rural community in the past life?
That is a really good question. Even growing up in Fergus Falls, when I was going to high school for art, Tom Blondeau was my high school art teacher. And I was not the traditional realism artist or wanting to do landscapes. I was one that was always wanting to use the mixed materials and make things. And so he saw that right away in ninth grade, and he actually honed in on that. And he would give me separate assignments of challenging me to do different pieces with different materials, and also to be able to talk about them and how they could work together, doing the problem solving. I had a lot of failures in high school with making artwork, but I think that is what gave me the jump start to be able to go on to college and to make this out of a career. And when I was living in that, I was getting the support from my family and also my high school art teacher. But I knew I had to go on to other universities to get more education and to understand more about the contemporary side of making work. And so being able to move away for 11 years and to go to undergrad, where I got my BA, my BFA, and then I actually took a 1.5 years off and started an artist co-op studio space in downtown Fargo, North Dakota, with 2 other artists, and then we opened up a gallery space as well. And I continued to push the envelope about doing contemporary installations out of the white box and doing different things, and it just gave me the hunger that I wanted to continue on to graduate school. So I went to graduate school, had some incredible mentors and still do to this day. And that is one of the reasons why I really did want to move home, is because I wanted to bring back what I've learned throughout my lifetime and also with my world travels of being able to experience work and see it. But it's very hard living in a rural community making contemporary work because a lot of people don't understand it, which I'm fine with. And I have conversations with them to be talking about the materials, the meanings behind it for me, but that, you know, it's what they experience with it and what they can see within it. And how I work with mixed media as well and continue to want to do that is that I'm not honed in on one type of medium, which a lot of times people are just like, I don't understand how you just can't work, and I'm like, I can't. Like, if you knew how I was brought up with my grandmother being a seamstress, my mom actually got into fashion school in Paris, and then I happened, and she actually refused to go because she was afraid to go overseas. And so she stayed back home, and then my dad was a carpenter, and my grandfather was a furniture maker and also a farmer. So I was around makers my whole entire life. And so all of these mediums represent something for me, but also too in a contemporary way of speaking about things that are happening within our society and how we navigate it. Did I answer you that question?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So do you see, like, when you're making your pieces in your process, do you like see like those felt things and think, oh, I need to make a piece with this, or are you making a piece and you think of an item that you want?
Another great question with that. So when I'm making the pieces, I know that I wanted to have the geometric forms, and I wanted to stay with that. I wanted to have it stay clear cut. And then I was all like, I really need something that's going to make movement within the piece. And so that's where I was like looking to see what is the material that I can be using for this. And then that's where I found those pieces. And those are actually felt pieces that you put underneath your furniture.
Okay, I thought so.
Mm-hmm. And then I painted the canvases and then created the lines that I wanted to create the designs with the circular felt pieces and then glued them onto the canvas.
Can you talk about palette? I'm a lot of things I'm thinking about when I look at your palette, but I'm more interested in what you're thinking about and how you're deciding on the palette.
Especially for this group of work that I've been working on with the palette color is with everything that we have gone through in the past 3 years, I wanted to include like what we consider beauty. So that's why there's like the metallic gold, the shiny gold fabric, even the shimmery fabric as well, to even think about how we ornament ourselves with our jewelry. I love silver. I will not wear gold. I'm all about sterling silver and turquoise, but also too, like with everything that we've been immersed in the past 3 years, I'm all like, I want to use something that talks about beauty, that brings up the beauty. And then with the color choices too that Lisa's talking about is that I want to use a vibrancy with color to show joy and also excitement within the work, and also to bring us back to our childhoods, of like when we weren't afraid of color or to use color in the work as well. One of the things I'll share though about the color orange is that actually Lisa and Andy has seen this building. There is a Kirkbride building in Fergus Falls, Minnesota. It's one of the oldest Kirkbride buildings and one of the best structures of the Kirkbride buildings as well. And when I was young, I used to go up there and do art projects with my friend, who was through Girl Scouts and Brownies. And she loved to eat Cheetos. So everything we made had orange fingerprints on it. And so there are all these little fingerprints of this orange. And in graduate school, I was so intrigued with the neon orange color. And I didn't realize until I actually moved back home and actually remembered me making artwork with that woman and understanding that this had an impact on me, and also the color that I've chosen. And now the color of orange has been in my work since 2008. It's in everything that I've been making, the series of what I've been doing. And for me, it makes me think about creativity, also caution, and that it is something that people typically gravitate towards. And orange and purple look really good together.
Well, thank you, Naomi.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you.